Okay, so the actual stream is now up. Mic check.
Hello? One, one, two, three. Mic check, check, check.
We're good. All right. So, hello everyone. We're back in this little stream. It's not necessarily a wheel-to-wheel podcast stream, but this is our first official stream since the showcase all the way back in December. I'm Fan2403. Joined alongside, we have Kart Racer, owner of XRS, and then we have RZX Razor, who is the Cutlass champion of the previous Cutlass Championship season that we ran. Here in the background, we're going to be having, this was the finale for the GT Challenge that was ran over at Kailami Circuit. So we're just going to have that playing in the background as we discuss a couple things. And yeah, so Kart, want to start off?
Sure. Why don't we start off with our nice small season of GT? As history from XRS, we have ran GT before in the past, but this season we decided to bring it back. We did a whole season reset. So instead of this being season 22? Season 22 for GT, we reset it back to season 3. So for our third season, I would say it was kind of an up and down season. We had Razor, our Cutlass champion. He was leading the points for the majority, and then throughout that he missed some races, and then lo and behold, our mighty fan, he decided to pop up, and he wound up leading for the rest of the season and just squeaked by for a championship here. Didn't win any races, but hey, with an average finish of fourth, it's not terrible. I'll say that is not bad. And only a 5-point gap to me. So definitely one to fight for. You know, we started off the season strong, and it looked like we had about 10 cars, I would say. And as the season went on, obviously numbers got smaller as, you know, I'd say as the championship grew more distant. But that's going to happen at any season, I guess. We've seen it before in the past. We saw it in Cutlass. We see it here. Not really a big surprise. Your thoughts, you guys?
It's a fun little season.
Fun little season. He got a handful of wins in there, yeah.
Just a handful of wins, you know.
Yeah, Razor tied for the most wins, and it was an all RZX win. No one outside of RZX had one in GT, unless you want to count Razor's first 2 wins, I think.
Yeah, 2 wins, I believe it was, before I joined the team.
He wasn't on RZX, so if you want to count that, that's something to count.
There's that. And then while the championship did end up being close at the end, for me, didn't feel like a huge fight, but I did need to be on my toes the last couple of weeks, knowing that, okay, we're going to have some guys being off balance because of attendance and the points. That's going to shake it up to where Kart eventually came down to like me and you at one point. So yeah,
well, the biggest talk of it was Razor coming back.
Oh yeah, no, Razor coming back when he was like, oh okay, it's just like Razor. He's like, oh, I'm giving up the championship, guys, like because I'm not going to be able to show up. Then all of a sudden, I thought he was going to be gone for like a month. Nah, like not even 2 weeks. He's like, okay, I'm back.
and then the one weekend where I wanted to come back, I didn't have internet.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
that
that's
knocked
true.
you out.
That like sealed it.
I mean,
The,
it
only
it was what it was, but
it came down to 3. Let's put it that way, and then it became 2 after 1 lap. I want to say 1-2 laps in the finale. I think
after a couple laps,
Nizrama left early, which he needed a Hail Mary.
Oh yes, it was going to be a Hail Mary for him.
He had to score like max points or something.
Yep. He pretty much needed the maximum points possible.
Go ahead.
He had to win, get pole, and I think both Fan and I had to finish 3rd or worse.
Like dead last or something, and he needed fastest lap or something too.
Yep. So he had to, I think it was a maximum of 111 points, I want to say.
I think that was the
pole,
max right
fast
there.
lap, and win.
Yeah, it was going to be a long shot for him, but either way, he gave a valiant effort. He practiced a lot for that race. It was just unfortunate outcome at the end because I think he actually quit because he said his hand was actually hurting. Like his hand was hurting.
Poor thumb, he said.
Yeah, his hand was hurting so much that he was gonna make sporadic movements. He couldn't really control his car too well. So,
Which was crazy because he was actually outrunning one of our other top guys, MVP, who came back for the last race after he was shipped out. And, he came back. He fought hard in the beginning, and then once Drama left, it seemed like it was only Razor and MVP fighting there. At least for a little bit. I don't know how long that one lasted. Obviously, Fan and I think it was Sly.
yep.
We were fighting the whole time in the back.
The race overall was fun. The race overall was fun. Me personally, I like Kyalami, and really the track selection that we had, I thought we had a pretty solid selection of tracks because we had a bunch of common GT tracks. GT track I would have loved to see would have been Daytona, but obviously when we made the schedule and planned out the season, Daytona hadn't been released yet into the game. So at least for next season, we're going to have Daytona in there, which should be fun. But other tracks were more difficult than expected, like Spa. The track limits on that track are pretty weird. So Spa, that was like, yes, it's a fun track, but the track limits are a little ugh.
Yeah, I think we moved that one from. I think that was the race that we decided from moderate to limited.
Yes. Yeah.
For penalties.
Yeah, because
And then-
overall the penalty system is kind of, or not kind of, is really inconsistent.
It's
There are
very
other
buggy.
There are other times where you might receive no penalty, even though it's a clear violation. You gain time and all that. And then there's other times where you actually lose time.
You lose like 3 seconds and you get a 3-second penalty. It's crazy.
So whenever that actually happens, obviously that's when we need to step in. We need to try and change the rules with what we got. And
Yeah, because it happened between me and you. I was ahead of you, and I just nicked off track, and it gave me a second penalty. And it was the last lap, I think, literally coming to the line.
I want to say you had gotten the penalty like like 2 laps from the end.
Still very
Like
close.
it was definitely very close to the finish, but yeah. And that was the only time where the time penalty actually affected the finish of the race. That's the
It
only
had to
time
get
where
reviewed.
yeah, that was the only time where it had to be reviewed, because all throughout the season, even with the time penalties, it didn't affect the finishing order. So this being the only time that it actually affected the finishing order, and in a big way, because I would have had a much more comfortable championship fight if the unofficial results had stand. But obviously after review with moderation and all that, they said no, points penalty, or not points penalty, a time penalty should be lifted. So then that changed the order, and that flipped me and Cart.
Yep, it was between 3rd and 4th, I think. 4th and 5th. It was around that spot.
Yeah, and around there, once you get into those top 5 positions, the points gap is significant. Like it's not like it's for like 6th and 7th, where it might only be a 1-point difference. No, when you get inside the top 5, now you're getting to, it could be like a 5-point difference at some parts. So
Yeah, and you know.
hey, we have a first-time chat from a bot.
Nice.
That's lovely.
Oh my god.
Anyways, like
Yeah.
we've been saying, that season was very. It was a very. I would almost say it was a test season. Not really a test season, but kind of a test season for our new game, for this new game, to see what we should be doing for that series and all that, because we did change the Forza race regulations
Yeah.
from moderated to limited.
Yeah, and it's definitely, considering the length of the season too, for some of you who may or may not know, the way we follow our general like rule of thumb on schedule length, the length of the schedule heavily determines our couple things. One, the confidence that we have in the series. Like, how many people are we expecting to show up? Do we expect it to be successful or not? And then 2, it tells us how we can run it. To where, like, if it's more of a NASCAR-based series, then do we want to add a playoff schedule to it? Do we want to have a form of a playoffs into it? Do we want to have just a straight shot, no playoffs at all, most points at the end of the season is champion? So the length of the schedules, if it's anywhere from, I want to say, like 12 to 16 races at most, if it's somewhere around there, then that's typically a permanent full-time series that we're running. 12 races might be on the edge of it.
If it's around 10 races, it's a good permanent season.
Yeah, and yeah, if it's around 10 races, then that could also then mean experimental, to where it's slightly experimental, like it's a series that we want to run, but we're not sure like how to actually approach it. That's why the GT season was only about 8 races in length, because we want to bring GT back and we want it to be a permanent series that we run all the time in the league. But we just weren't quite sure on how we actually wanted to well adjust it. So I would say that for the next time we bring it around, we definitely want to make that schedule a little bit longer, with some difference in the rules, difference in the track variety, because that will better allow us. It'll better allow us to say, hey, this is the setup that we are going for, and this is a better format that actually helps improve the race. And if it's a super experimental series, then it's only going to be about maybe 6 races in length.
Yeah.
Like we have no clue on the confidence level of it. Like this could maybe be a brand new series that we've never ran before. Like all that, yes, that is 6 races in length, completely experimental.
Well, Razor, I heard you were about to add something in a little bit ago. We got rambling.
So regarding my fate in the championship, all I can say is a woman stopped me from winning the GT championship.
Man, you almost doubled out.
Yeah.
I think you were 60 points out or something like that.
It's
You
like
had a huge lead.
I had a full race. And then yeah.
I think you had about like a 50-point lead or something around that.
I had a full race lead in the GT championship before I dipped out for a bit. And then yeah. But it is what it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You were determined not to race for a whole 2 weeks. Judging from this, only 2 weeks. But you know, as we discussed, our beloved fan, wound up the champion. And I know you said this earlier. You said it doesn't really feel like a championship that I really deserved or wanted, but I mean, this is your second one across 2 different series. One being experimental and cut short, which definitely can't feel good, especially when only 3 people are showing up a week. And on a game that was dead, like literally living on a strand. But this one had to feel better. I know we talked about it earlier. It had to feel a little better than anything before.
And did it feel better than the Euro Cup? That was the other championship. Yes, it felt better because I actually finished the season and actually ran the whole season as champion. So yes, that does feel better, way better than having a season cut short. And you're like, hey, we ran most of the season, and you were the leader in the points, so you're technically champion. Felt way better than that. But my best championship moment or my best championship fight that I've ever felt or experienced was one that I didn't win. I came in second. That was back then when we ran our IndyCar series. Our IndyCar, it was me and Exiv in the last race. And all I needed to do was finish the race, and I would have been the champion, but...
Season 16.
Yeah. All I needed to do was finish the race, and I would have been the champion, but... Wi-Fi kind of died out on me halfway through the race, so...
You had a Razor moment.
Yeah. Wi-Fi died out on me halfway through, so...
Season 16 was a interesting season.
That was interesting considering we ran... Like, that was one of the first and only times that we ran 2 series side by side with each other. Because that was something that was like a foreign idea at the time in the league.
And I would argue it went pretty smoothly. Obviously, neither one of us were owners. I think you might have been a moderator or an admin. I don't remember your exact position, but you were a higher position than me. I was just a driver and a team owner.
Yeah, back then I was admin, I don't think I was the top admin though. I think that was still X's position at that point.
You know, which you were running under his team.
Yep.
That was I don't want to say it was a bad season or a good season. It was like morally bad, but when you look at all the fighting that happened in that season, the racing, I would argue, got better.
No, yes, the racing was incredible.
We had our NASCAR series going. We had the IndyCar season going. NASCAR series, we actually incorporated a new playoff format, or not a playoff format, but a chase format. I think it's what it was called. But the way it worked, it was very interesting, but I didn't like it because the owner never updated the points right.
Yeah.
He just kept adding points and adding points and adding points, and it didn't look right, and you'd get confused, and you're like, wait, I'm fourth, but I'm in the final three? Like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But the way that it was structured was well. It was it was okay. Leave it an okay. You had a final 6, I think it was 6 or 8. It was 6.
It was six drivers.
4 of those spots were occupied by one team, Van's team. Well, actually, it was X's team, but Fan was on it. I don't think Fan was in. No, Fan wasn't in the top 6. And then it was me and D-Dog.
Yeah, I just missed it. I think I was like 7th.
Very, very intense getting in. But then the way it was structured, you had the last 3 race. Whoever finished ahead of the other 2 moved on. I was a part of the last 3, and I had to fight 1 DBM, 1 GTS, and then I just had to fight the other DBM guys to try to secure my spot, because that wasn't gonna be a fight I wanted to pick. But anyways, and then it kind of continued on that trend of, okay, the next 3, then it turned into, I think, the next 2 advance. And then you had the final race, so it was a 3-race chase. It was at Indy, Daytona, and then Homestead.
To where I think essentially the last race it would come down to 2 drivers.
No, because it was me, Extiv, and Culture.
No, so 3 drivers.
Yes.
I remember Coulter that season. He was like, I don't deserve to be here. I remember that. And then it was the 2 big dogs and Extiv and you. Like, yeah, these are the 2 that are going for it. Coulter's is here.
I was the rookie, Culture was the underdog, and Extiv was the big dog.
Yeah, Extiv was the favorite.
That's how that one worked. Because he was going for his second, I was going for my first along with Culture. And holy moly. What a race. That's all I gotta say. What a race, what a season, and that was interesting. Anyways, let's move on to these 2 seasons instead of talking about the past. That past, I should say.
I'd say let's get on to Razor's championship season. Cutlass.
Yeah. You've been in here, you've barely been... No, barely been talking. You've been talking, barely. I'll make you talk some more.
Alrighty.
So, obviously Cutlass season. Little, I'd say a lot different. Points wise, the way the series was ran, I'd say is quite a bit different. We ran 10 races this season because we didn't have enough tracks to really figure out a good balance of the season. Now we do, and that is going to happen with the Cougars. But we had to make up a few mini Daytonas. As you can see on your screen right now, we're at Homestead. But that we wound up making one of our plate tracks. Which, very fun, by the way.
Oh yes, kind of.
That was a very fun race.
It
I
had,
kept lagging out.
yeah, it had heavy reminiscence for me. It like reminds me of how new Atlanta is for the Cup Series.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, you know.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the racing that you can see there. So it was incredible.
Yeah, I remember leading a lot of laps in that race, and then I had the lead on the final lap going into it, and then Tomato got the push of his life, and then he stole it from me.
Yeah, Tomato. He was the one who ended up stealing it at the end. He got the run of a century on the outside.
Oh, he did, yeah. I remember seeing him go around on the outside. I'm like, no, come on. I'm like, and it was my debut weekend with XRS2. I'm like, come on, I want to sweep the weekend. I want to sweep the weekend.
Oh, that's.
I don't know if it's ever been done.
Sorry, like I don't know if that was the finish of the race or whatnot, because the replay, like, it looked like they were wrecking at the line, and then the replay stopped.
I think that was watching that right now. It looks like it was just like one of those fun races that we did.
Yeah.
With
It
just a bunch of
was.
people, yeah, a couple weeks back.
Now, some of you guys that are watching, if you haven't played the new game yet, or maybe you've heard of the new game and all its issues, we didn't have good replays until a month ago.
Not even.
So if you're seeing races that haven't been recorded, you have to go to STG Oracles or RZX Neo, whatever his Twitch is. You'd have to see it through him to see all the actual races. That would be my best way to actually see the races, or maybe through someone else. I don't know if Tomato is streaming. That's where you can find a lot more of these actual races, but it's going to be from a car's perspective and not from the track.
Yeah,
Not a
it's only,
spectator.
it's only going to be from one driver's perspective. Yeah, this Cutlass race that you have saved, this is definitely not the Cutlass finale. Because I clicked on it, and it definitely wasn't the Cutlass finale.
Should be the Cutlass finale.
That was the one I
but
clicked,
unless it's-
and it replayed the last one that I was doing.
Click it again.
But I'll
Okay.
kind of like,
Alright.
I'll kind of just go through how my season went in Cutlass. Got the
Go
one
for it.
stolen from me in the first race, but that's plate racing. You can't control that. Then the very next race at Indy, I remember on the last restart, I ended up restarting last because I had to pit again because I got the wrong tires put on. And then somehow I drove through to the lead when people started wrecking each other. And this was when cautions were disabled. And I just stole the win there. Then the very next week at Eagle Rock, I win that race again. How did I do that one? I think I hit the wall with like 20 to go, got a lot of damage. Kind of the same way, I just
Homestead.
crashed,
You're keep talking.
came back, somehow won the race. I got lucky on the last restart because Cam had engine damage. Because I don't know what he did, but that's Cam. Then Road America was the next week of the rain edition. I gave myself engine damage, which I couldn't, and then I couldn't just bite the win off like I wanted to with Typhon because I had no power.
Oh, here's the championship race. You flipped the titles card.
And then I missed a couple races. Come back, I believe it's the last regular season race at Indy, the plate race. Then we had, it was me, you, Fan, then a couple other people where we just like let each other take the runs and we just kept pulling away from the rest of the field.
I think it
And
was.
we did that until
This
there
was
a caution.
Indy Plate, I believe.
Yes, Indy Plate.
Yeah.
That one I lagged out of too.
And you want to know
So-
what's crazy? The 70-lap race at Indy, the amount of times I pitted was insane. It was 0. I finished that race without pitting because I'm like, I'm going to try something. Put on hard tires. Fill the thing with fuel. Ran it the entire race. The tires made it. I don't know how, but I did. And then the first playoff race, Homestead road course. I stood on pole, lead every lap but the last one because Titan somehow found speed and got by me on the last lap. Which I'm like, damn, I blew that one. And then here comes Eagle Rock, the second or the penultimate race of the season. Titan's driving off with the lead. My tires are dying. Cart's coming behind me, so I'm like, oh, I gotta push to keep the second place. So I just push a little too hard, grab that wall. I crash. Both me and Cart crash. I'm like, alright. A few laps to go, let's come down pit road, put on some tires, and just wing it. And won the race.
The one part that I like about this game, just because you mentioned it with tires for the last 2 races, that I like how this game the tires can wear off quicker than your fuel.
Yeah,
That part I do like. I just wish the game did it better.
Yeah.
That's my
I
only
wish
take
I
on it.
wish soft tires didn't last as long as they do. I think
Yeah.
soft tires last way too long.
But at least we're not dealing with what we dealt with in FM7 to where the tires, they're fine. You just need to worry about the fuel.
Yeah.
I will say that made pit strategies way easier.
Yeah.
You just had to worry about fuel.
But now we come to the final race, Homestead, this past weekend. And it was quite the battle for the championship between me and Typhon. We had a very long green flag run where we even had had a green flag pit stop cycle, which was really nice to have. Because I don't think I've seen that yet on this game on an oval. So that was kind
Homestead's one of the worst ovals to do it with.
Yeah.
Too.
and that was pretty cool. So I pitted a few laps after Typhon. I remember his tires started dying and I just started to pull away. I'm like, okay, if this is how this is going to turn out, let's keep it green the rest of the way. And I was hoping it was going to stay green because I had it like right there. Typhon was like probably 6 seconds back. Fan, I think you were like 3 seconds back or something. And I was by myself running my laps, leading. And then MVP, my teammate, or RZX teammate at least, decides to wreck himself, and the caution comes out. Like, no, I had such a lead. And then all hell broke loose after that. The last 40 laps were probably like, I was like dead focused. But speaking of MVP, we can't just ignore the fact that I drilled him and he started spinning like a Beyblade on the restart.
That was hilarious.
It was.
That was
I'm like,
hilarious. Because I think I
everyone
was
else,
the
yeah,
second place.
everyone
or-
else.
No, I was the leader.
Yeah.
And then I just looked behind me and I just see MVP spinning like a Beyblade at the bottom of the track.
Yeah, because everyone else started going by him, and I drilled him, and he's on his wheel, and he couldn't control the car.
Poor MVP.
Which MVP, I'm really sorry. If you're watching this, I'm sorry, MVP. So, the race goes. We get to the final restart. Then cautions are disabled. Then this was what decided the championship. I go and make a pass on Titan for the lead. It was a clean pass, but then it got stacked up because I had to like slide up in front of him. Because we both entered so low. And then a stack up happened, and Cart, I believe you got into him, and he crashed.
I didn't get into him. I was on top of him at that rate. That was
like everybody was on top of each other at that point.
I got tagged going into the turn, and then I hit him. It was fine, and then I hit the apron, and then it was not high. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Which I had apologized to him, saying that it's not how I wanted to race him. That's not how I wanted to see the championship decided. But
yeah, and that right there decided the championship. I saw him spin around behind me. I'm like, oh, let's go. And like, but nobody could like hear my initial reactions to anything during the race because with my PC game bar, it's a little busted right now. I have to keep it open to speak, so I couldn't really speak much till after the race. But then, even when that happened, when Titan spun around, I'm like, all right, let's try to win the race, because now I had nothing to lose at that point. Knowing that my only competitor is now taken out of the race. Not ideal. I would have liked him to finish and have a better battle.
I believe the situation was between you two is he had to win and you had to come third. And then you two would have tied and then he would have won. That would have been the ultimate way to win it. Because
Yeah.
you would have had 4 wins compared to your 3. He would have had, I don't think he would have had a better average. I think you still would have had the better average. The way we do tiebreakers is with the tie, we look at the wins. And whoever has more wins is the winner. If you guys are tied for wins, then it goes to average finish. And usually those are separate.
Yeah.
The only thing that we haven't determined is how much further back do we go. Because really, those are only 2 deciding factors. The 3 deciding factors is your points, your wins, and then your average.
If points are still up. Yeah, points are still up for us. So, yeah. So I had an average finish of 2.25, which is absolutely insane. And his average was a 3.75.
Which previous seasons we have seen averages be as low as that. I'm sure if I found some that would be great.
You just need to go to Vanquish this season that he ran. And
Oh, yeah, that's true.
and I think he had an average finishing position of like 1.7 or something like that.
No, 2.4.
Oh, 2.4.
2.42.
Damn.
And I mean, Razor has a better average, but And again, Vanquish also
But then you look
quit
at
out a
the
bunch of races.
then you also look at the all-time win list for the for the Cup Series.
I mean, let's just put it this way. Vanquish won... He's won 4 races in a row with ease. So... I mean, that's not anything to... That's nothing to really... be like, oh, that's nothing. 4 races in a row is hard. And you can talk with Exif all you want. I believe he has the no, he doesn't have the most in a row, but he has 5. His best is 5 in a row, which is just 1 more than Vanquish.
Actually,
And-
no, I think Exif does have that record. Actually,
He has the most wins.
no, he has them. He has both. Because he broke both records within a couple weeks' time. So Exif has the record for most wins in a row and the most wins in general. I remember that season to where he broke the record when I believe he won 4 in a row. That's when he broke the record. And then when he got the 5th win, that's when he also then passed, I think he passed Adam at the time on the all-time win list. Yeah, because that's how that season went. Only reason why I remember this was because Exif used to be the old social media manager, and when he posted to the social media pages, he posted it as initially he broke the all-time win record. And then I remember Adam correcting him. He went, no, you didn't break the all-time win record yet. You just got the most wins in a row. Like, you have the record for most wins in a row. And then it took him just a handful more races to actually beat the all-time win record.
Yeah, he didn't. But that was across a few more seasons. It wasn't in the same season. Because once he did 5 in a row, he was done for the season.
Yep.
But anyways, back to you, Razor. Why not?
Yeah, so coming to
So
the finish of the race, it was a nice photo finish between me and MVP where I just barely got him at the line. I didn't have to win the race, but I'm like, oh, we'll go for the win. Nothing to lose at this point.
So this is, like you said, that this was your debut season. Really, your debut for this league was the GT Series.
Yep.
Dominated that race. You know, you did battle. You did battle with the co-owner of Shift Motorsports, which was a team that you joined right after the first race.
That's correct.
Yeah,
And-
Cart was like, I want you after that race.
I watched him and I was like, no, what? Why not?
I need this driver.
Because I only saw him as soon as I saw the number 9 on his car. I was like, oh god, this is what we're dealing with right now. Not to say anything about Chase Elliott fans, but when you're playing a game and you're on the number 9, you're usually not the best. We've had experience with that before. So.
But then you see this racer guy run number 9, and like, whoa, he's actually good.
Yeah, then we were like, okay, we'll take you in, buddy. But for your first season, your rookie season, you're not the first rookie to do it. I'm sorry, I was. I'm not gonna say I was. for Shift Motorsports, I was hands down. Anyways, for your debut season for the Cutlass / Cup series, because the Cutlass Championship was under the Cup ruling, we were so far into it being called the Cutlass Championship that we were just like, we're gonna leave the name how it is, and it's gonna go straight to Cup.
It's basically Cup with a different name.
That's all it is. So you got 4 wins to Cup. You got a championship to Cup. It's got to feel pretty good, I would say.
Yeah, to do it in my debut season, that's pretty special.
Don't worry, you're not going
Like-
to have the same luck for the Cougars. No, I'm kidding.
Because like,
We'll see.
because I was going
We'll
into
see.
it, I'm like, okay, this is a bigger league. There's probably some really talented drivers in this league. So I'm like, this isn't going to be an easy fight.
When we had around 16 guys, it was a fight. But the game's, I'm just gonna say it, the game's busted. It's a little funky. So that's why a lot of our drivers right now aren't running in the season. And we get it. You get frustrated with the game. I get frustrated with it all the time because I'm wired into the internet and it keeps disconnecting me from lobbies, which doesn't make sense. That's not an internet issue, that is a game issue. So I know the internet here is garbage, but it even happened at my house where the internet is fantastic. So can't be an internet issue. It has to be a game issue.
Yeah, it
I'm
has to be a
very
game
down
issue. But yeah, it was a fun Cup season. I had a lot of fun participating, really.
And for someone like yourself, you joined a different team too. You have a RZX name tag on you.
Yep,
So we know you joined the dark side.
I did join the dark side.
Because JJ saw what I saw, and he's like, I would like to.
Well, see, the thing with that is I was trying to get on the team beforehand. I messaged JJ one day and haven't even met the guy. But I've raced with a bunch of team members for a while now. And so, like, hey, what do I have to do to join RZX? He's like, I'd like to see some leaderboard times. So I sent him in a couple leaderboard times I put up. Pretty high up on those. And he's like, oh, not bad. So he put me in the Discord server and he said he'd see me on track soon.
He had to feel you out.
Yeah, he had to feel me out first. Then after a couple races with him, he's like, yep, you're good. Come along.
Yeah, it's definitely not a bad thing. We joke around about it all the time. Mainly because the previous owner and myself had a run-in with him. We always joke around now. Well, I joke around. I don't know how Culture feels about it now, but I at least joke around about it, and so does Fan and a few others that are actually friends with JJ now. Because JJ and I actually met in NBA. He didn't like me because I stole a win from him. I stole 2 wins from him, actually. So he didn't like that. He didn't appreciate it. And at Daytona, Coulter and I were whooping his butt pretty badly.
Was this the JRL Daytona 500?
500, we also embarrassed his team a little bit because
Bump draft.
I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but I have been told by bigger names than myself and and JJ that I am one of the best tandemers on FM7. And it's just, I don't really say it, but when you're out here and you're running half a tenth faster than other guys that are tandeming and are able to get around them on the outside and be able to keep your partner in when there's a train of you guys, you kind of have to, you kind of have to step up and be like, yeah, I am one of the best. I'm not saying I am the best, but I am definitely one of the better ones.
That's the word I've heard. Is a lot of people have said kart racer is one of the best at tandeming, if not the best.
I got that wake-up call, too, for when I got my way into, I think it was MEA's Daytona 500 a while back, and I just remember Culture and Kart got together, like, it was some other driver, like, let Culture in, or let Kart in, so then they were, those Culture Kart working together. And I remember, to this day, I just remember ESV Boberts. He's just like, whoever did that just made a mistake, allowing them to work together. and Boberts, I know he's fast, a fast guy. He's a part of ESV. ESV being one of the faster teams in Forza. So when you have,
they are a top team.
They are a top team in Forza, ESV, and you have him saying that you made a mistake by allowing Kart to work with Culture? It's like,
all I know.
Oh, wow.
I know because of in Daytona. I'm not telling my secrets. That's it. You gotta watch me, and then you can figure it out yourself. And I had
Kart, I've watched you for 4 years, and I couldn't figure it out. Am I that slow of a learner?
Well, yes, you are incredibly slow.
Okay. Yeah.
Actually, you can't be that slow because X is wondering what the hell I'm doing so much different than he is. Because he actually... So this is a funny story. I learned it the best when Daytona was getting very buggy. So like when cars were lagging and stuff. That's when I learned it the best, because then it's like, you got to be more careful with your moves. That was the best way that I could actually the best way to actually be like, okay, now I really got to be careful with my throttle and my clutch if I use it, and my brake if I have to, and you know, all that stuff. I have to be careful with my inputs so then I don't jerk back or jerk forward, or the guy behind me jerks forward and spins me out. And like I was gonna say a little bit earlier, I have to give credit to Exiv, because before I got as good as I am now, I asked Exiv this question. I said, hey Exiv, how do you do this on your controller? How do you do this with this? And he's like, I do it this certain way. I was like, oh, okay, because I heard it to do this way. He's like, why would you do it that way? I don't know, it seemed pretty easy. And then as soon as I started doing it his way, I gained, and I think that was his biggest mistake on letting me in on his little secret. I should say I perfected it when Daytona was lagging, when we were lagging at Daytona. And I will say, I don't think the foot cramps are worth it. Do something else with your free time. Don't sit there and try to master bump drafting in Daytona.
Well, currently we're sitting at we're about to hit the 55-minute mark in the stream. So, in a summary, We ran 2 series, the GT Challenge and the Cutlass Championship. I was able to win the GT Challenge Championship. RZX Razor was able to win the Cutlass Championship, or technically a Cup Series Championship, just Cup Series under a different name. And we have the upcoming season of the Mercury Cougar Cup. That's making Season 2 running. And if it's Season 2 of the Mercury Cougars, if it's just as chaotic as Season 1 was, if not even more, because now you can actually draft at Daytona and a lot of these tracks, I'm expecting
pack racing at Daytona.
I'm expecting pure insanity. I'm just expecting pure chaos to happen at the plate racing, because the plate racing was already really good in the Cougars and FM7.
They just weren't. The drafting wasn't this good.
Oh yeah, it wasn't as strong.
I'd say the drafting in this game is better in ways than in the previous game.
I think
Definitely.
both games have their flaws with drafting.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, personally, I liked running away with one other car. You know, especially in a NASCAR, I like that a lot better. But whatever. I guess Forza didn't like it. Turn 10 didn't like that idea.
Me personally, I love pack racing more than tandem drafting, but all of us have our own opinion about it.
I mean, if I'm on controller, I like pack racing as much as the next guy, but if I'm on a wheel and I have my buddy Culture, or Jacob, or someone else who's on a wheel that's smooth with me, we're going places. That's all I gotta say. Razor, maybe one day when I'm back home, I'll teach you. I'll teach you the ways.
The ways of tandem.
The ways of tandeming on a game that won't ever be used again.
for just no reason.
For just no reason. This is how you do it, by the way.
It was funny because he did text me and he asked me how I did it, and I said, honestly, I can't really describe it. It's hard. That's all I gotta say. It's hard. But once you learn it, you hang on to it.
So I want to say in this past year's JRL Daytona 500, me and MVP were like 6 seconds behind the main pack. And like, okay, we gotta tandem up here. So he got in front of me. And he was really good at managing that bubble.
I'm just gonna tell you this: go watch the MEA 500 from last year, and then you'll see what people are talking about. That's all I gotta say.
MEA's Daytona 500. And then right at the end of the race, you're going to see how I do not know how to do it. And
you don't work well with me.
Yeah, it's screwed over cart.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Hey, I finished second in a race that half the field thought I wasn't even going to qualify in that race. So I'll take it.
Scraped by you. Literally the last 3 that made it in or something like that.
Hey, I made it and I capitalized. I finished second.
Well, for the upcoming Cougar season, I'm very looking forward to that.
Oh yes. That should very much be fun.
The schedule that we have, I think, is going to be a very, very good schedule for this season. I think it's going to be one of our better seasons. Or not seasons, but better schedules for this series. Season 2, and hey, let's see if we can get a 2-time Cougar champ with Rough Rabbit joining back in.
Ah, yes, Rough Rabbit.
He's got a way with these Cougars. It might not seem like it, but I think he got a win or 2, didn't he?
Yeah, the last race. No, I think he either won 2 races or 1 race. So
he won 2 races. He won once on race 2, which was the Indy. He won both Indy Ovals.
Oh yeah, both Indy Ovals he won. So
Well, he
And,
won 2 out of the 3 Indy Ovals.
yes, 2 of them were plate races. Or no, yeah, 2 of them were plate races. One of them was regular. He won the first regular race, and then Dawson won the other plate race, and then the championship race, Rough Rabbit won.
So, Razor, are you gonna let that happen? Gonna get a 2-time Cougar champ, or are we gonna get a Cougar champ out of you?
with Rough Rabbit, over in FSRX, I raced for his team. Then I left for Harding Motorsports.
You'll be on Harding Motorsports for that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Hopefully, your team owner there, Rocket, can stay in the races.
hopefully he can. He's had game stability issues.
He's been
He
more
finished-
stable lately, though.
More stable. He finished this past FSRX race tonight. Although that was quite
He
the
finished
race.
poorly.
He finished
I
poorly because he got wrecked out. And we're not gonna talk about what I did in that race.
Yeah, we know what you did.
It was very
Hey.
disgusting. But
But
the kid deserved it.
we're not talking about FSRX. We're talking about XRS.
And we're gonna ignore that.
You said
Yeah.
you're excited for this. What are your expectations going in? Are you expecting any wins? Are we expecting?
I'm expecting a very strong playoff run, multiple wins.
Now, for you, because you haven't been around for this type of playoff, you probably know about it.
I know about it. I read up the rules. I'm like, okay, I see how this works.
Yeah. It's similar to the way NASCAR does it, but it's not really. We do one big playoff, one big round, and then we get our final 4. So you have to race your way in, you have to get your points, all that. We still have a chance for a 7th playoff driver because we're only sticking with 6 this season. That won't change. We're gonna have 6, possible 7. Got to be top 18, or at least, yeah, top 18. Probably we're gonna have to fidget with it depending on how many cars we have actually actively racing.
Mm-hmm.
But as of right now, top 18 in points. Gotta have a win.
Yep.
And you have to be ahead of the other drivers with wins.
Yep.
So,
I think I can win multiple races in the regular season portion. If I can do that, I should be all right.
well,
Then, but my thing is, I'm very consistent, so I think I should be all right, just in general.
I want to earn something, man. I want to. That's my goal.
that's what a fan wants.
I just want to earn something. My name's on the stats for champions and wins, but none of them actually felt earned. So I want to earn a win. That's all
Well,
I
your
wanna
cup win felt earned.
do. Felt earned
little
only
bit.
because I was avoiding the wrecks.
Yeah, that was at the Indy Plate race. Yeah, that was quite the race.
It was just that.
Everyone just started dying on the last lap.
Yep. We had a big wreck. People died. And then there at the
So
end.
what?
Yeah.
So what tracks are you going to be strong at once we determine these packages? What track are you think you're going to be the strongest at besides road courses? Because we know you're a good road course racer.
Eagle Rock, Indy, Homestead. I mean, I won at all 3 of those tracks in the Cutlass series.
You did.
Actually swept the Eagle Rock races. So, if that says anything, Eagle Rock is looking like a very, very prominent place. I won.
And then road courses, what are you thinking road course wise? Because we do have one interesting track.
I did see that. That's the Eagle Rock with the little chicane.
The Eagle Rock Club.
Yeah,
Club circuit. What do we think on that track? Do you think that's going to be one of your, I'm going to get this one for sure? Or is that going to be a...
We're going to
I
try.
don't know.
We're going to try. You know, it's technically a road course, so...
The road courses, I just want to finish.
on the lead lap?
I'm looking at the
I just
schedule.
wanna finish on the lead lap.
If there's one race I want to win the most, I don't care if I win the championship, one race I want to win the most, because I've never won at this track, it's Daytona. Daytona, doesn't matter what league it is, it's the #1 track on my list I need to win at.
Oh, I'm sure we'll see you up front for that race at some point, because we did have a for fun race at Daytona, and you seem to be aggressive, I'll say.
Yeah, I
You're
like
very
when
aggressive
I get a run,
getting
I
your
like
way up there.
when I get a run, I like to take it.
Now, for any XRS Cougar racers that we're gonna have, I just want to make a couple things. Just asking for the Cougar drivers. I've always liked being able to get a bunch of guys up on the outside wall and just running in one long train. I think it'd be very, very cool with these new cameras to see if we can get a really nice shot going into turn 1, 3, out of 2, out of 4, going across the start finish. I think it'd be very cool if we can make that
Like a train on the top.
just a long, just however many guys we have. I just want to see it at least for
We
2
want it
laps.
to look. We want it to look like the 2013 Daytona 500.
Exactly. I want to see that outside lane be ran with every single driver. Just make one pack. We're 2 laps. Just run the outside for 2 laps.
Yep.
Preferably in the beginning so we can get the shot.
Daytona's going to be a 100-lap race, so I think it would be smart to do that for a while, just to log laps.
Yeah, but the way
the draft
And the
is.
reason why, Mike, you want to run on the outside is because it takes the air off the right side of the car and it gives you more stability throughout the corner.
That's not in Forza.
Yeah, not in Forza, but
I think it'd be
anyways,
cool to see though.
Yeah, I'm looking at the schedule here, and I'm fairly confident I can win at any one of those races. Because, like, one thing I've noticed is there's people that are just good at the road courses, but they're not great at ovals. But then there's people that are great at ovals, but aren't great at the road courses.
hey, that sounds familiar.
There's very few people that I've seen that are really good at both. And I'm not trying to like brag or anything, but I consider myself one of those.
Oh, let's just put it this way. I like to say that I'm good at both. I am not your good at road courses. I am a I've been told I am a phenomenal road course, or not road course. Oh, that'd be amazing, wouldn't it be? I am a phenomenal oval racer. Maybe not phenomenal. A very good oval racer. And I am a decent road course racer, which I don't disagree with. But, anyways, fan, hearing that, he's confident I win in everything. I can tell that probably just shot your ego way down.
Because I'm looking on like Homestead, Indy, Eagle Rock. Those are good. Those are good tracks for me. And then I look at the road courses. Indy road course, I'm actually really good there. Mid Ohio, I'm decent there. Not the best. That's probably one of my weak. That's probably my weakest road course race on the schedule that I know of. Eagle Rock Club, I don't really know yet because I haven't actually ran a race there.
Like, you're gonna learn.
I'm going to learn.
You're gonna learn today, buddy.
But easily my strongest road course on the schedule is Watkins Glen.
You know, that's
It's
such
just
a
something-
basic answer. No, I'm kidding.
With these Mercury cars, though, it's gonna be tough on the road courses because they're so tight. Like, they have no front downforce, I feel.
So I may not have ran some practice laps at Indy Road Course already with the car stock. And I like the way it drives.
Now, let's
Yeah.
make it. So, fan, we gotta make this car
Okay.
style.
Okay. Yeah. Complete agreement with you. Eye for eye.
But here's the thing. Not only can I drive a tight race car, I can drive a very loose race car too.
So what you're saying is you can't drive a perfectly balanced. Got it.
You can drive a tight car. You can drive a loose car. When it's balanced, nope. I want to create the balance.
Also, Road America is another good track for me. But I'm really looking forward to this Cougar season.
Well, looks like we might have a season 2
To remember.
championship threat. Yeah.
Now, I don't know who else signed up for it yet. I haven't seen the roster.
Yeah, the official roster hasn't been posted. I'm gonna give a couple more days for more guys to sign up, and then.
Yep. I've already seen a couple names that are been highlighted as the Cougar season. I'm like, okay. Like, I know X have said he's running full-time Cougars.
Yeah, he said he was running it, but he didn't. I would need to check, but when I did the initial day one signups, he wasn't a day one signup. So I would need to see if he actually filled it out now or not.
All I know is that I'm signed up, but I don't know how often I'll be showing up. That's all.
Me,
Try to be there.
I'm gonna try to be there every week.
You're gonna have to try harder than me.
I know.
All right. Well, I don't know if we want to announce anything else, but
well, in
I don't
terms
think
of
we have our second season, second series really set yet.
yeah, it's not set yet, but there's definitely. We'll say this: it's an experimental series that we will bring in at some point during the Cougar season. So at some point, there's going to be another series that we're going to run side by side with the Mercuries. It's an experimental. We were just coming up with today. We were just coming up with a mock schedule, seeing what tracks can work for the cars that we will be running. I will say that these are cars that we have not touched before in Forza. So that's where we're at with it right now. It's going to be really experimental, so just have a couple more details to kink out, and then I think once we actually get the Cougar season going, that's when maybe at some point a couple weeks in is when we'll announce this series. So there's that. But then in terms of social media, there's a reason why I didn't title this stream a Wheel to Wheel podcast or something like that. The reason why I titled it We're Back. This stream was just meant to be pretty much a catch-up from what has been ran since the showcase and what has been ran since then, because we as an organization as a whole, we're going to pick up where we left off in back around half a year ago now on how we were in our social media presence. So we will be returning to our social media platforms, trying to post on a more frequent basis. So our Twitter page here on Twitch, we want to try and do update streams since we have no spectator to go off of. We're going to upload.
We will do our best to try to get information out to you guys, whether if that be after the race, after 2 races. We'll do some driver interviews and just stuff around those lines. So then we can actually get something shown that yes, we are still here, we are still racing.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll stop racing for a while, unless some circumstance that we can't.
Yeah. But in terms of if we have plans of slowing down, or if we have plans of, you know what, let's go on a long league break. No, because just last week we were talking. Me, Cart, and then a couple of the moderators, we were talking about ideas bouncing back and forth of events that we want to run in July and all the way ahead as far as December of this year on some things that we want to do. So we definitely have no intentions on stopping and going forward. So we're going to post update streams on Twitch. Every single stream that we do now, we will upload to our YouTube channel. So I know back then we were very finicky with it, to where we were only uploading race replays and then uploading podcast episodes, but occasional pop-up streams we weren't uploading. We want to change that. Every single stream that we do now will be uploaded to YouTube. Some clips, some highlights that we might be able to get. We do want to try and then grow the TikTok page that we had. We are probably going to end up creating a new TikTok page just because Culture, the former owner, he was the one who ran that page, and now he's no longer in ownership. And neither is a frequent driver now. He's not showing up every week. So in order to have some consistency with it, we're probably going to make a new TikTok page and then start posting content from Twitch and YouTube on there. Twitter, posting news updates, posting Discord updates on there, occasionally sharing some Forza updates that are shared with the community. And then obviously the Instagram, want to get back into that as well.
Yeah. Sounds like we're going to have a plan going.
Mm-hmm. So, I would say that's it for now. Unless there's any more last-second things that you, Card, or even you, Razor, if you want to chip in on anything.
I don't really have much I want to say. I already said everything I wanted to say.
Well, for the time being, with how this game is running, we're going to do our best to make the best of it. In my opinion, the game drives better. There are better features in it, but then again, we lost so many features. We don't have a spectator mode, so we can't broadcast any races. we don't have certain cars available to us. We don't have certain options in our settings for us, and there's some settings that seem a little pointless, but I mean, hey, it's a game of the year, racing game of the year, so
Built-
sports
built
game
from
of the
the ground
year,
up.
actually. Yep. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, I
there's
think.
still.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with the new game, it's like, yeah, there's some bugs in there. There's some missing features like manual grid ordering. That's
Mhm.
that's very annoying. And then no spectating. Like if they add those two things and then they fix the invisible car glitch, then I think that would just make the game like 1,000% better. Along with fixing stability issues. People like lagging out and stuff and crashing.
Mhm.
If they fix those few things, this game can potentially like be better than 7.
And potentially
for-
be miles better than 7. Like to where.
Miles better.
Mhm. And even if it's just like we get it, like we're understanding the more and more we look at it from a community standpoint that the developers who are actually working on the game, they're not full-time employees for Turn 10 working with the game, so you're switching out a bunch of part-timers. So it's kind of like trying to successfully run a retail store, but all of your employees except for one are seasonal. So trying to switch out all these guys, work around with schedules, and do all that. I get it. It's slow, and it's going to take some time to progress. And even if we just get one of these things per update, like even if we just get one of these things to where like they continue to make stability improvements, to where finally most people on PC are not going to be crashing just by being on the game for too long. Them finally making it to where, okay, maybe we don't get a track update one time, but if we're willing to sacrifice not getting a track or new cars, but we get new features, or we get features that we had in 7 back into the game and improve them a little bit, I'd be willing to sacrifice that. I don't know about others, but I'd be willing to sacrifice not getting a new track and new cars and an update, but in exchange getting features that we had in the older games. Just so then we have that little bit of improvement to get back to get the wheels back turning.
I will say this. For league racing in general, there's a lot missing, it seems. So, for starters, obviously we don't have spectators. We were just saying that.
Mm-hmm.
So, in my eyes, priority-wise for leagues, I would say first, stability. Stability.
Yep.
That is the number one biggest thing ever. Because it's not only just PC guys, it's also Xbox guys. I mean, like I was just explaining earlier, I'm wired in, and the game will disconnect me from certain races and all this. So it's stability, all around stability. Manual, I would say, spectator mode, manual grid order, and some of these pointless glitches. It's a new game, but we still seem to get the same issues, but they're heightened. There's a grip handicap issue. There's the invisible car issue. There's the list goes on. There's a bunch of issues with this game, and it took the developers 4 months to finally listen.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, really, for the time being, I still want tracks. And honestly, I could care less about the cars. I only run a few cars, and I haven't even touched the cars that they're drip feeding to us.
Mm-hmm.
So in my head, I say stop. Don't drip feed the cars anymore. Don't, work on the actual fundamentals of the game. Get the game into a good spot first, and then start adding in all these other features. And if there's bugs with the track, there's bugs with this, there's bugs with that, fix it immediately. It should be an immediate fix. It shouldn't be, oh, I gotta wait until next month for this patch to be added. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. But hey, it's a new game, I guess. What do you expect from a new game for all its features to work? That's nonsense.
Yeah, but that I definitely agree. Get the game to a solid state first, and then we can talk about features later. And then we can talk about new tracks later and stuff like that. But hopefully the devs, they keep working at it. I mean, it's their jobs. If they keep working at it and they keep making improvements, and hopefully, like, those creative directors at Turn 10, they still listen from the community standpoint. And we're not saying that we have a word in anything, or we have a say in anything, because in reality, like, if you look at like XRS by itself, yes, we have no say to what actually happens. And even if you look at bigger leagues,
percentage-wise, we're like 0.1%.
Maybe. Like maybe 0.1%. And even a bigger league, like let's look at Tora. In Tora, they're probably one of the biggest leagues out there. They made a statement by not running events because the
Same
game
with Race Haven.
Yep. So they made statements, public statements, because they have that public influence. They have thousands of drivers that race for them, or that are a part of their communities. They're a part of their servers. And even them, they don't have that big of an influence as well. They have a big influence on the community, but they don't have a big influence on Turn 10. And I think now, after a couple weeks, we finally see that, because like the new game on PC, at least, it's struggling to keep a couple thousand people on the game at the same time. Like, it's struggling to do that. And it's dropping. It's not even a top 20 game. And this was just released back in October. So, I mean, now I think Turn 10 and Microsoft Studios, maybe they're now seeing the effects of what's happening, and maybe they make those improvements, but we'll see. I would say, yeah, that's all that we can talk about and do for now. And then, yeah, in terms of being on a streaming schedule, there's not going to really be a concrete schedule. As of right now, like, we might have pop-up streams happen throughout the week, but in reality, they're more likely going to happen on the weekends. So Friday nights, Saturday nights, Sunday nights, like sometime around them is when the streams will most likely happen. And then obviously it's going to take about a day for them to get uploaded to YouTube. In terms of anything after that, not really much else. And yeah, so that was the check-in stream that we're going to do, catch-up stream. Hopefully in the future we can expect some more streams, and then get back on track wise, social media wise, to show that we are still here, we are still racing, and like, we're not gone kind of thing. And
At least now that replays have been able
yes,
to save, now we can actually post the winners or post certain clips within Forza,
like,
because Forza can't give us 30 minutes anymore. We got to stick with 11 minutes. So
we can see the
Worst
first
game of the year.
11 minutes. We can see the first 11 minutes of every race. At least it's a start. So, but yeah.
somewhere.
Well, that, I think, will do it for now. And yeah, so we will see when the next time we get a stream going up. But Fan2403, Kart Racer, Razor, thank you for joining us on this stream today. And
Absolutely.
yep, and hopefully we can get more streams going for the future. For now, so long.